All right, guys. I'm sitting here with Michelle and the director and some of the guys from Best and the Most Beautiful Things. Thanks for coming out, guys.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Why don't you start by just telling me in your own words what the film's about?
Michelle?
Well, I feel very grateful because these guys had to do all the hard work. I just ran around and ran my mouth a whole lot, and I don't know if you can tell, but I like talking anyway, so. But the film, to me, is about individuality. It's about being yourself, embracing who you are, looking adversity in the face, and, you know, kicking gender norms in the butt, and, you know, all that good stuff. It also has a fuzzy cat in it, which everyone likes.
Yeah. So we're just going to have Michelle answer all our questions because she's going to do better than us no matter
I'll
what.
just keep shooting them out.
She should write our log lines for us.
I don't know what that is, so I don't know if I'd be too good at that.
Trust me, you already are.
So if I've never seen the movie before, what can I expect from the movie as far as a story, you know, from a story standpoint?
I would say it's a coming of age film about a young girl with who's legally blind with Asperger's, and she comes of age in very provocative ways.
Okay.
So she's searching for independence after school, and she finds community and independence in very provocative ways. There's a 75% unemployment rate for the blind in our country, and so it's not easy for any young person graduating from school these days. So if you have a disability, it's that much harder. And so we wanted to kind of document Michelle's journey in that way.
Yeah. So adding on to that a little bit, what made you want to do a film about disability and blindness per se?
Well, basically, I wanted to, first of all, I wanted to make a documentary that was focused on something that was right in the world, not just something that was just wrong with the world. And so I had this big dream. I was like, I'm just gonna Google beauty. That's the most right thing I could think of the world. So I Googled beauty, and after searching through the internet, the best thing I found about beauty was this amazing quote by Helen Keller. And so I Googled Helen Keller, and I remembered Helen Keller went to school right down the street from me at Perkins School for the Blind. And I Googled Perkins School for the Blind, and then I saw that there was this unemployment rate. And I thought, well, if I could go volunteer at that school, and if I could tell a story that was not focused on blindness, if I could find a compelling person and tell their story and it wasn't just focused on blindness, that would be a way to humanize someone with disability. And so that was my goal, and I went there, volunteered, and then Michelle introduced herself to me with her indomitable, outgoing spirit. She introduced herself to me.
Yeah, I found you. I saw you sitting on the sidelines, and I'm like, that just won't do. I have to go talk to this guy.
Mm-hmm. And after 5 minutes of talking to Michelle, I said, would you like a documentary about you? And she said, sure. And like 6 years later, we're here talking to you.
That's wonderful. That's great. A great story, great process to go through, I'm sure. So Michelle, talk a little bit about what does this mean to you? What does it mean to have this story out there? What does it mean to show people, you know, a little bit more about, you know, your experience and what it's like with a disability and things like that?
Well, two things come to mind. The first is that, and this is something I actually say in the film, there are things that I say and do in the documentary that some people, particularly more conservative people, would be like, why don't you keep that to yourself? And the reason that I don't, besides the fact that I'm just kind of person who, you know, doesn't like to lock it all up inside, I like to share my world with the rest of the world. The other reason is that I think that it's possible that if I say something, it might help other people to say something, or if I say something, it might help other people to realize that, you know, oh, I always liked that, or oh, I do that, and it might help them find that, you know, even though we're all different, which is great, we're also all kind of the same, which is also great. The other thing is that I'm hoping, like Garrett said, I was hoping to show people that people with disabilities, we're people, and we really like it when you treat us like people, you know, not like, I don't know, like sad puppy dogs or something, or like pathetic, you know, people who can't do anything for themselves.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, people need to be treated the same.
Yeah, exactly.
No matter what they are, no
yeah.
matter what they're like.
I always want to, like when I, like at the TSA or whatever, I always want to yell at people and say, talk to me, don't talk to my mom. I have a mouth and I know how to use it.
She's right about that. I
Yeah.
can
Oh,
vouch for
yes.
that
That's great. Well, I think it's great. You have such an outgoing, unreserved personality. I think that's part of why you were such a good subject for the film, I'd imagine.
Sounds like me.
She's not a wallflower.
No.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
afraid to speak your mind.
Yeah.
That's great. So to talk a little bit about, you guys are here at the festival, films getting premiered in front of people. What has it been like for you so far? What do you expect people to take away from the film? What do you hope people will see? Talk about the process of getting accepted into the festival and what you've experienced so far.
Well, we're just starting our festival circuit now. This is, I think, our third festival. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes.
Third. Yeah. Thank you. Michelle's been to all three of them.
Yeah.
It's wonderful to be invited to this festival because this is one of the bigger festivals in the second tier of festivals out
Yeah.
there, and it's a great place for exciting films. We met some really cool people last night at a party who are here for the festival, so we're proud to share the film with these people. Our main interest when we have audiences watch this film is to have them forget that they're watching a documentary film, because usually when you walk into a documentary you think you're going to be taught something about an issue, and that happens in our film, but it's very submerged below learning about a person. And when you learn about a person, it feels like any kind of movie. So that happens a lot in our screenings, of people just identify with Michelle and forget that there's another issue going on there, and then at the end of the film they cheer the film because she's such a rock star. So we love to see people connect with her, and that more so than the film itself. I've done a number of films in my career, and I'm less interested in the filmmaking aspect of this one than I am the character. So people don't have a lot to say about the filmmaking, they have a lot to say about Michelle. That to us is a victory.
Yeah.
So we're excited
It's
about
fun. It's people have this idea of documentaries that they're gonna talk down to you, they're going to lecture you, and while there are things to learn, I think, from the film, there's definitely things that I've learned through watching other people watch it and hearing their reactions, and also through being filmed. But it's not accusatory, and it's not condescending. It's not like, hey, we know you treat blind people like this, stop it, you're mean. It's, there's parts that people laugh at. There's parts that, even though I've seen it like 8 times now, I still laugh at. And there are definitely some parts that are probably going to make you mad, because there's some people who are just not nice, and they're not being mean. A lot of times their hearts are in the right place, otherwise we wouldn't have gotten them to say the things they said on camera. But to me, it's the film is it's a lot more like, there's a lot more of a fun, lighthearted romp to it than a lot of documentaries that I've seen. And I like documentaries.
Mm-hmm.
I know it was fun to make.
For 6 years.
Oh yeah. Anytime they'd come over, it'd be like a big party. Plus, I'd get a lot of Dunkin' Donuts.
And I'll say quickly is like,
Yeah.
after I volunteered there on my own and found Michelle introduced herself to me, it was still just me. And the reason why it took 6 years is because I had to have other people, convince other people this could be an interesting story. And I was able to do that over the 6 years. So for instance, Jeff Consiglio, he's one of the most successful filmmakers in LA, documentary filmmakers, Oscar-winning, Emmy-winning. And I just basically got on Google again and Googled my dream editor, and I sent him a little clip of Michelle and at Perkins, and he emailed me back, and he's like, that girl there, and that young girl there, you've been focusing on her? And I said, yes. And he said, let's talk on the phone.
That's great.
And then also Kevin Bright happened, we got him involved. Kevin Bright was the guy who created, or executive producer of TV show Friends, and he happened to be at Perkins, and he got involved. So that's what brought us to this wonderful festival. So
Yeah, he was a good friend of mine before Garrett even met him, I think. I had been in his film class that he did, which was very entertaining, and my friends and I, some of us still have some inside jokes from that because it was so crazy and so fun.
Yeah, I bet. How's the reception been so far in the other festivals you've been to, and the people that have seen it, even the people that you talk about starting by yourself and bringing people into it? It seems like people have been pretty open to the idea and pretty interested in the idea.
Well, I've gotten a lot of hugs, so
Yeah.
that's nice. That's nice.
gotta be a
That's
good
nice.
sign.
I forgot how to talk. Sorry.
We were lucky enough to have a world premiere at South by Southwest, right? And that
Yeah. It was really, really great.
yeah, and then we just came from Florida Film Festival where we won a special jury award, which we're very excited about. It was for individuality and human spirit. They invented a jury award just for us and that.
That's great.
Yeah, and so we're here, and then as soon as we got here, I mean, the hospitality at the Dallas International Film Festival has been unbelievable. Picking us up at the airport, gave us a mini tour through Dallas getting here, and just telling us about Dallas, and everybody I've met, just a passion for films here, and it kind of validates what we do,
Yeah.
for all those hours struggling to make this, and it all validates.
Yeah, it
us.
makes you think you're doing something right. All the long hours and no sleep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Cool. So where was the shot? Where's the movie shot?
It was shot at Perkins School for the Blind is where we met Michelle. That's in Watertown, Mass. That's where Helen Keller, her alma mater. And then Michelle, you want to tell them where you're from?
I was raised in Bradford, Maine, which is a small town. I was raised on a dirt road where my dad literally got to pick the street address and named it 92 because that's the year I was born. And
I didn't know that. That's cool.
yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we could have put that in the film.
Anyway, so, but now I live in Bangor. I live in my own apartment, but at the time that the filming was going on, most of the time that was going on, I was living with my mom. And she used to live in Bangor, and now she lives in Corinth. So we're kind of all over the place, but in the same area, so that's good.
Okay.
We get to see each other a lot.
So the film talks about a controversial first love. How much of this stuff is real? How much of this stuff is true from your own experiences?
Oh, so much. I don't know if you were talking to me, were you?
Just in general, just the three of you.
Well, let's see here. Well, I'm not dating the same guy anymore, but he and I are still really good friends. There were some emotional incompatibilities, but he and I are still really good friends, and I'm still very grateful for the months that we had together, even though there were some rough patches. It is, to a lot of people, it is very controversial. But I think what the important thing is, if it makes you happy, and no one is being harmed, I think that's what's important. And for me, it really helped me. I learned all these things that I never knew about. I mean, before I went to Perkins, before I left Perkins, I knew that this was the kind of alternative lifestyle that I was going to want to be in, the BDSM lifestyle. But I learned so much through, having a partner who was very invested in it as well. Met him at a party, and it was a great experience. And now I have a different boyfriend now. He lives in New York right now. He's working, trying to get enough money to get his own car and his own place so that we can visit each other more. And he's also in the lifestyle, so I feel very, very lucky to have found such awesome people to surround myself with in the lifestyle.
Yeah, that's great.
And I'll say I did not know filming that Michelle was into that lifestyle. It took like a couple years into filming, more than a couple years. But we wanted to keep filming with, when Jeff Consiglio came on board, we were thinking about ending the film when Michelle graduated high school, Perkins School for the Blind. It was going to be a happy story. She graduates and goes off. And then we found out about, they call it the cliff. And if you're disabled in this country and you graduate high school, they call it you falling off a cliff. You fall, and you become isolated in your home, parents' home, sometimes collecting disability, but with no job and no opportunities. You just almost disappear. And there's like an invisible demographic in this country. And so that's what we wanted to document. And so, but Michelle did find community, even in that room. She did end up isolated in her home, but she found community online through this BDSM community. And through all of us, at first I wasn't gonna thinking we should film that, but then, you know, Michelle, it's true to Michelle's story,
Yep.
right?
It's a part of who I am. It's in some ways it's it's very much separate from the me that goes out and buys groceries, but in some ways it's really not, because there are these sort of just like sort of tendencies within me that I think I've had since I was very little, if not since I was born. It didn't when we were talking about including it, there was of course the rules. No one who has not given consent to be in the film will be mentioned or shown, and we're not going to show where sort of undisclosed locations are and things like that. And we figured that all out, and then after that, it was a matter of how we were going to approach it. And I mean, as being someone who was not on the technical end of things, I was just running around having a good time. It was really interesting to, it was a sensitive subject, not because I think that it's inherently, bad or weird or in a bad way. I think it's more like, we didn't want to throw anyone under the bus.
Yeah, makes sense. So talk about your goals for this film, your aspirations, what you hope people take away from it, who you hope sees it as far as release, and what's next.
Well, we're still we're in discussions on releasing the film. That will probably take a while, as usually does. The film will probably find its way out into the world later in the summer or in the fall. Like any filmmakers, we're looking for the widest release possible. We're very interested in people getting to know Michelle. That's our main thing. Garrett and Michelle and others involved in the film have a very strong interest in trying to raise the discussion about disability in the workplace and in social environments. That's going to come along with the film, but our number one goal is just to get people to see it and learn that sort of wall shattering that you get when you meet Michelle Smith and you learn that a disabled person is not just like everybody else, but is also a leader in many ways. Michelle is a leader in many ways. So
I've been told I'm quite disarming.
you're very disarming. So we're very interested in as many people as possible seeing that. So we're hopeful for a good release. And we're optimistic.
One little thing, you were talking about the cliff, Garrett. Do you know what I call that?
What?
I call it the escalator to nowhere, which is a Simpsons reference.
And I'll just say that from here, we're very excited to be taking the film to the Independent Film Festival of Boston, where we started this all, and so we're going to have a lot of family and friends there. And from there, we're going to be going to Hot Docs in Toronto.
Very excited for that. Can't wait to get a Kinder Egg for the first time.
And then from there, we're going to Bentonville, which is Gina Davis's film festival for films about powerful women made by powerful women.
Wow.
And so this is about a powerful woman, and we also have two powerful producers on our film, Ariana Garfinkel and Jordan Salvatoriello. And we have incredible, and both cinematographers, both camera people were female. So it's like
Don't forget about Sarah.
Sarah Ginsburg and Jordan were. So it was, so we're proud of that too. And then some festivals. The festivals are great because, I mean, it's a great chance for people to meet Michelle one-on-one. So come tonight if this is gonna be done today. Come tonight, and Michelle gives out free hugs.
Oh
So-
yes, free fuzzy hugs, and we can talk about anything from some of the deeper meanings of some of the more serious scenes in the film to who your favorite character from Thomas the Tank Engine is, or something like that.
Yeah.
I'd love to talk, and I love to meet new people. So don't be afraid if you see me around. Just come up and say hi. I'd love to meet you.
Absolutely. I'm sure people love to meet you too. Cool, guys. Well, thanks for sitting down. I wish you guys the best, and hope lots of people see it, and only best thing for the film.
Thanks very much for having us.
Yeah,
Thank you
thanks,
very
guys.
much.